hello, welcome back. My name is Emily Webster. I am a 6th year, 2nd grade teacher in North Texas, and welcome to this week's video. Can I just tell you that I am so excited. The birds are chirping, the flowers are blooming, summer is on the horizon, and the end of the school year is near. But that's not why I'm excited. I'm actually excited because every day when I go to work, I look out at my sea of students and I realize that I have created a classroom that thrives on independence, a classroom that thrives on joy, and most importantly, a classroom that thrives on responsibility. And that's what today's video is all about, how to create a classroom culture of responsibility. Responsibility is so much more than just a job chart or a fancy schmancy bulletin board in your classroom. It is small, consistent actions that you do over time that teaches your students what responsibility looks like. And over the last 6 years as a teacher, I've learned that students rise to the level of responsibility that we give them. So in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the 5 simple ways that I've created a culture of responsibility in my 2nd grade classroom. If that sounds like something that you're interested in, grab your favorite cup of coffee or tea, maybe a cozy blanket, and settle in as we get started. All right, the first way that I create a classroom culture of responsibility is with the language that I share with the students. I use language in my classroom that reflects ownership. So, for example, we have a chant, cheer, or saying to go along with everything, just like you can remember a jingle from your favorite commercial. I actually taught my students the one for O'Reilly Auto Parts the other day, and they loved it. You can remember a jingle from your favorite commercial. They can remember a jingle for the expectations. That's how I proactively teach ownership, but then sometimes we don't meet the expectation because, newsflash, no one's perfect and we're all human. So if they break it, they'll say, if we break it, we fix it. If we don't do it right, we do it again. And just yesterday, actually, we had to practice how to line up appropriately because we just weren't grasping it, because our energy levels are sky high at the end of the year. And the reason this language works is because it helps them know that they're not being managed, but they're just a part of a community, and that helps them own their actions. So responsibility truly starts with how we phrase it to the kids and how we invite them into that. So that's why I love the call and responses. They feel like they're a part of the expectations. I have a friend of mine, her name is June, and she came up with a great system of 4 rules whenever the students are coming in for dismissal, because she realized that they weren't meeting our expectations of the cafeteria. And so she reads off 4 rules with them every single day. And that's rule number 1, the kids say walking feet. Rule number 2, sitting on our bottoms. Rule number 3, voice level 1. Rule number 4, hands, feet, and objects to ourselves. And it was honestly a proud teacher moment for her and for myself, because she came up with rules and the kids meet those rules and they take ownership of those rules because they're having to say them to her before they enter the cafeteria. So the first thing that you can do to foster a culture of responsibility in your classroom is just the language that you use around responsibility. All right, the second way that I foster a culture of responsibility in my classroom is through the way my students manage our shared space. So from the beginning of the year, I teach the students that this is not just my classroom, it's not just their classroom, it's our classroom that we create together. And I'm really big on letting students manage their own supplies. I have always used table caddies on the desks, and I've always liked having the desks in groups, but last year, I started color-coded supplies, and this is a game changer for how the students manage their supplies and how they held themselves responsible and how they manage the supplies themselves. So what's really great about this, I have 5 different table groups. Let's see if I can remember the colors. I have green, pink, yellow, orange, and blue, and all of them are color-coded. So the blue team has blue scissors, the blue team has pencils with blue pencil top erasers, the blue team has glue sticks with blue stickers on the top. I, again, have fun little sayings for them to be able to manage their supplies, like pom-poms up in the cup, erasers up in the cup. I can include some pictures of what these look like, but this is really great because it's kind of twofold. 1, the students are in charge of managing their own supplies at the tables, and then when they need new supplies, they can go grab it from the student center. what's also really nice is if I see a glue stick on the floor, I know exactly what team that belongs to. I'm like, hey, found a blue group's glue stick because it has a blue sticker on the top. And there's always one student at each group who takes ownership of the table tub more than the other students, and that's fine, but they're working collectively to manage their supplies and get what they need. And when they need something, they know that they can go get it from any spot in the room that has it. They don't have to ask me to get clipboards. They don't have to ask me to get the extra headphones. They don't have to ask me to sharpen their pencil. Most of the time, we had a little incident this year, but most of the time they don't have to ask me. And I love this because they're in charge of their supplies, and then it takes some of the burden off of me, and I can focus on what's truly important, and that's teaching. And these are just life skills that compound over time. So I really, really love that. And it's really not about neatness. It is truly about the respect and care of our shared space together. Number 3, I give leadership roles with meaning. So up until this year, actually, I had always done classroom jobs that rotated, and that was a lot for me to manage. I was not good at doing it, and I knew that I needed to make a change. And so I took a page out of Emma Grace Jen's playbook from when she was in the classroom, and she had something in her first grade classroom called junior teacher. And I decided to take that, and I put my own twist on it this year. So every day we have a new student who is the junior teacher. And the junior teacher does everything for me that day. They are my line leader, they are my errand runner, they're my paper passer, they are, if I need them to do something, they're gonna do it. Oh, they lead structured literacy. And it's a role that they like really internalize and they absolutely love. And so I love that for them because they own it and they take ownership of that. And I also in my classroom have some other little jobs. I don't have a job chart, don't have a rotating job chart, but I do have some other jobs that students are in charge of, like my schedule rotator. So our schedules change and we have schedule cards that go on the board. I have a student in charge of that. I have a student that's in charge of resetting our calendar. I have a student who is in charge of resetting our lunch count magnets. I have 2 students who are in charge of taking our, we call them summary cards, our summary card folders to specials because we have 2 different specials groups. And then we have 2 students that are in charge of our recess bucket. And again, they really own those jobs and they feel really good about those jobs. I'm going to be honest that these jobs don't change very often, if at all. And let me be clear, all of my students have the opportunity to be a leader in some capacity in my classroom, but just like any job, you have people in leadership roles and they have those leadership roles all year long. For an example, I'm a GLC and 2 of my teammates are not GLCs, and I've been that for 2 years. And you know, over time, students will get the ability to have those leadership roles, and I think that's great. And the reason that I like these leadership roles with meaning is because the students really own and see themselves as leaders, and they really take them serious. Responsibility grows when students are trusted with something that really, really matters. And again, this goes back into our shared space. If a student doesn't reset the special like they're supposed to, the students come in the morning and they don't know what specials that we're going to, and then they're confused. If students don't have the right date on the board because they didn't reset the calendar, the students are confused because they don't have the right date. And I've seen this play out time and time again because sometimes our calendar person has been out sick and they're like, wait, that's not the right date. And then somebody will take ownership of it and they will go change the calendar because they're like, oh, we got to have the right date. And so I love that. Again, it takes the stress off of me to have to do that every day, and the students have a job in the process. So it's like a win-win, and I absolutely love it. So remember that when students are trusted with something, their responsibility grows. Okay, so the next thing that I do to create a culture of responsibility is the way that I frame mistakes in my classroom. So I model for the students that it is truly okay to make mistakes. So if I make a mistake while I'm teaching, which by the way happens a lot, it happens every day, I will tell the students, we have a call and response, no surprise to you, I'm sure. I'll say Miss Webster, and they'll go, Miss Webster, and they'll be like, I'll say it's okay to make mistakes. Say, it's okay to make mistakes. It's just a part of learning. And so then they'll say it, so then they're hearing it, and they're seeing their teacher model that it's okay to make mistakes. And then what happens is sometimes I do have to sign those summary card folders that I was talking about earlier, and when we sign those folders, I tell the students, I make it a point to say, hey, I'm not mad at you. You just made a mistake. I said, but it's what you do differently next time that truly matters. And so I teach them to fail forward, and I teach them that mistakes are a part of the learning process. And we have to reflect and we have to grow, because as somebody who is a recovering perfectionist right now in my adult life, like, it would have been so powerful had my teachers said things to me like, fail forward, or I'm not mad at you, this was just a mistake, it's what you do differently next time. Like, I feel like that would have been so transformational. So using language around responsibility and making mistakes and taking ownership of your actions is huge. I know it sounds small, but it is something that is so huge. And I have watched my students, whenever they make a mistake, students are a mirror back to you. And so when students make mistakes, there are some kids who will go up to them and be like, hey, it's okay to make mistakes. It's just proof that you're trying. And they're modeling what they've seen you do. So how you frame responsibility and how you frame mistakes in your classroom is huge and monumental. All right, the last thing that we do in our second grade classroom to foster responsibility is we celebrate together. We celebrate wins collectively, and this is huge. So something really special in my classroom that I do is I have cheers to cheer on our classmates. So during structured literacy, we'll cheer on our classmates whenever they are the junior teacher and they're up there leading, and we'll say, let's give them our seal of approval. 3 claps, no more, no less. 1, 2, 3, orf, orf, orf. That one's our favorite. Okay, let's give so-and-so a firecracker clap for reading our decodable passage. And they go, whoop. Or let's Liliana a whoop whoop on 3. 1, 2, 3. And they absolutely love it. But another thing that I do, I have 2 really, really special ones, and I teach them at the very first day of school, is when a student does something awesome. They take their work from ordinary to extraordinary, or they are just working extra hard at something, or I see a student that has been struggling to meet expectations, and I will say, hey, let's give it up for so-and-so for rocking and rolling today. And we'll say, we are so proud of you. We are so proud of you. Hey, hey. Or GOODJOB, good job, hey. And here's what's really special. At the beginning of the year, I'm the one that leads those cheers. And then something happens throughout the year. It happens differently every single year, but it always happens. It could be the first 9 weeks, it could be the third 9 weeks, but it happens. I will give someone a shout out, and then someone in my classroom hears it, and they're like, we are so proud of you, we are so proud of you, hey, hey. And it's magical. It's truly magical. 1, for me, because I see the whole class in unison together, and I see the kid that started it. And then 2, I see the kid that is getting the celebration, and the smile just is plastered over their face. They absolutely love it. I've seen even the most reluctant learners love this, because they're getting praised for something that they're doing well. And I am a big believer of what gets promoted gets repeated. And so I think that that's huge. And I'm not talking about just big wins. It could be that Johnny has sat in his seat and is doing a great job staying focused. It could be that so-and-so got a certificate on Dreambox, and the kids will cheer him on for that. And that's really all they need. They don't always need a prize box prize. They just want to be seen. This shows them that they're seen, they're valued, and they're respected in our classroom. And I absolutely love it. It's like truly chef's kiss. Amazing. I'm a big believer in it. And it also says that they matter in our classroom. So responsibility means owning how we treat each other, choosing kindness, celebration, and encouragement for our peers. So there you have it. Responsibility isn't something that you have a job chart for or just a bulletin board for. It is something that you live in your classroom every single day. And actually, I'm going to say you live and you model every single day in your classroom, and your students are going to follow suit. I would love to know, what are some of the ways that you foster a culture of responsibility in your classroom? Leave me a comment down below. If you've made it this far in the video, can you give me a thumbs up emoji? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share so that way other teachers just like you can find and keep the joy in teaching too. I will see you in the next video. Bye, friends.